A man named Horst Schultz holds the world record of farthest cum shot at 18 feet 9 inches and also holds the record for highest at 12 feet 4 inches. What's an NSFW fun fact? What's up, viewer? Thanks for coming back to another Alien Radio Storytime. It's your favorite storyteller Andrew, back at it again. Since you're already here, you might as well like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell button. If you don't, then you're mom gay. No more waiting, let's get started with today's stories. The G-spot was nearly called the Whipple tickle after Professor Beverly Whipple, who coined the expression that we know today. An elephant's penis is prehensile just like their trunks. This is because they are too big to thrust, so the penis does the thrusting on its own. Also, their evolved testicles remain inside their body due to their size and height. Where testicles that hang would have been easy targets for predators to grab a quick snack. The longer an employee is out of work as a result of an illness or injury, the less likely they are to return to work. Studies suggest that when an employee is out of work for more than 6 months, they have less than a 50% chance of ever returning to work in any capacity. When you lose your hair with chemo, you lose all your hair. Pubes, underarms, eyelashes and nose hairs. Not having lashes means you get crap in your eyes and can't just blink it away. No nose hair is just weird. Every time I wash my face I get water up my nose now. Chemo sucks. Electrical stimulation of a particular nerve group in the lower back can induce ejaculation. The effect is involuntary and works in people with paralysis and even sufficiently fresh cadavers. Edit. Credit for this fact goes to Mary Roach's fine non-fiction book Bonk. Highly recommended. Men who climb Mount Everest tend to get boners during the climb due to how the extreme elevation impacts blood pressure and circulation. The way that clams reproduce. The male basically shoots semen in the general direction of the female, and the female uses a vacuum tube to suck all the good stuff out of the water around her. If a jellyfish is killed, it will release all of its sexual content. Thus, if you killed 2 jellyfish, you could possibly cause the birth of over 100 to replace them. It's essentially the same as a human dying and, if male, ejaculating so hard that every drop of semen is violently expelled from them, if female, launching eggs from their vagina. Which is disturbing to think of, but you get what I mean. I only know this cause there was a documented case of it. They tried to kill a swarm of jellyfish, I can't recall where, with a metal net dragged through the water. However, after killing about 200 of them, they later were cursed with the 3,000 or so strong offspring of those they killed. Male and female ducks are locked in a perpetual sex war against each other. Male ducks are aggressive and will breed forcefully, they are even known to commit necrophilia. Their penizes grow according to how many competing males there are in their environment during mating season and then fall off after the season. Some ducks also have barbs on their penizes to scrub away rival dick sperm from females. Female ducks' vaginas are designed in a counter-corkscrew fashion to combat the male duck's explosive corkscrew penis. Females also have up to 8 false cavities to mislead an unwanted penetration. Ducks are degenerates. The speed at which men first ejaculate sperm averages something like 25 to 28 miles per hour. I was at a party once and was chatting with a girl who was studying to become a teacher, specifically sex ed. This was a few years back, and the whole abstinence-only education thing was becoming more and more prevalent in the more conservative Republican states in the US, so I found this fascinating and talked with her for a little while about her studies and plans. Naturally, I asked her if she had any fun facts she'd come across thus far. I love random fun facts. She shared this one with me and haven't seen it here yet, so here we are. Reverse cowgirl is the #1 way to cause penile fractures. The dick usually bends one way, toward the belly button, vagina usually goes away from the anus, up and slightly forward. Curve accents the motion of humping, providing more friction and stimulus, so there's a reason for the curve in nature. Reverse cowgirl turns it around to where the dick isn't wanting to bend in its natural direction in a confined space, varying from slightly wacky to a hell lot of forwards action. Couple that with 100 to 300 pounds of lady giving it her power squat from the gym, and you have a recipe for a pop, especially if the dick slides all the way out and then she sits full force on it. Also, penile fractures are a thing regardless of size. Bonobo apes and hedgehogs are the only animals together with humans that look at each other when doing the naughty. Bonobos also use oral sex as a means of social interaction within their groups. I don't know if it was social status or just that they are one of the only other species who has sex for pleasure. There is a species of penguins, Adelie penguins, that build nests out of pebbles. The males will bring pebbles to the females and essentially propose to them. If the female accepts, they will continue the nest building and be mates. Sometimes, the female is lazy and doesn't want to work. In this case, the female will attract a male, get his pebble, mate with him, then attract another male, trading sex for nest materials. Essentially, some female penguins prostitute themselves for nesting materials. The females of anglerfish carry multiple testicles attached to them. Let me explain this. So, the big ass fish is a female. Males of anglerfish are much smaller, about 100 times or so. The moment they are born, their sole purpose of life is to find a female. They don't eat, they don't socialize, they just wander around until they find a female. When they do, they bite into the sides of the female and attach themselves to the female for good. From that point on, they get nutrition from the female, and in turn they provide her with sperm which she uses to reproduce. A single female can have multiple such males attached to her at any given time. Over time, the attached males start to deteriorate, they lose features that even identify them as fish, and eventually end up essentially as testicles attached to the females. The thin little seam on a man's nuts is there because it's literally fused together. In women, that seam becomes the opening to the vagina. In fact, penises and vaginas are actually sort of the same crap, but rearranged during development. The clitoris grows to become the head of the penis, the labia fuse together to form the scrotum, the nuts are sorta like ovaries on the outside. Seriously, if you have a long-term, opposite-sex partner, or a really open friendship, who's down for this, take out your scrot lips and touch it to their scrot lips. They feel exactly the same. I believe this is also why men have nipples, because a fetus starts developing the female plan, then either switches to male or doesn't. I'm sure there are more similarities that I'm not aware of. Men aren't the only ones that get longer when they're aroused. The female's vaginal canal lengthens when she grows aroused, letting her accommodate something big. It's called tenting. The cervix also ascends up and away from the direct line of fire, so the deep bottoming out thrusts are no longer cervix punches, but rather grind against the posterior fornix. A second G-spot, essentially. Women who achieve orgasm from penetration, I believe, are more sensitive to posterior fornix contact. This is also, in my opinion, the only specific benefit to being above average in length. Edit. Wanted to also mention that getting a lady into this state is a good reason to work on your foreplay build-up game. I may get this wrong, but I believe I heard that around 40% of all ducklings were conceived via rape. Edit. I've noticed two major questions I would like to answer now that I have the time. Look things up. The exact percentage seems to vary, but most of the sources I've seen so far place the percentage more between 25 to 35%, which would make a bit more sense, considering females have evolved a twisting labyrinth for a vagina. It's also come to my attention that some people seem to think that animals don't, or aren't able to, give consent when mating, which isn't exactly true. Intersexuality is a type of mating style where individuals compete passively through performing some form of ritual display, song, patterns, colors, showmanship, decoration, dance, bower building, etc., to impress a member of the opposite sex, resulting in both sides consenting. Ducks, or drakes as I've learned some countries call them, are normally intersexual, and when the courtship is done properly, the female will position herself in a way that will drastically increase the male's chances of successfully fertilizing her eggs. Sadly, not all male ducks drakes are willing to patiently do and go for the more aggressive approach. When working on large machinery, you turn off the power, water, air pressure, whatever kind of energy source you can eliminate for safety, then put a lock with a tag on it that says, "This equipment is locked out, do not attempt to start it." After you have locked everything out, just to double check that everything is indeed locked out, you go to the control panel and push the start button and see if anything moves. Once you have done this final step, you can now safely enter the machinery. I work on 500-ton injection molding machines. They use gigantic hydraulic cylinders that close the mold with 3000 psi. That machine will not give a crap if your body is in the way of closing that mold. It will close as much as it can until your bone paste and meat slurry causes it to not be able to get the last 0.005, and it faults out. I have worked with guys that were seriously injured and one that was killed in a machine, and in every instance, it was because they didn't follow Lodo. My reply to this thread was a joke on NSFW, since not performing lockout-tagout is actually not safe for working.
Like and subscribe for more funny, interesting, and scary r/ask Reddit videos.